Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are sober. Yes, we're not. That was a bit exaggerated. It's like I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling like, okay, shit, here we go. We're sober. We've been to the gym. When sober, we're talking grass. Okay, grass gone. Great. Makes me feel too much of like a sloth. Just no good. My favorite type of grass is Colombian grass. Not really. Not really. You've got to be really careful with all of that because all of that will just take a toll on me regardless. So anyway, we're back out of that. Now, thank goodness we're out of that. But we've also made changes immediately to the diet, immediately to everything. So currently cooking chicken, fantastic. Had a bit of beef jerky, fantastic. Rig is looking horrific, but really large. Like, real muscular. Horrific though. Like, personally, horrific. Cool. Moving on. Look horrific, fantastic, don't need to deal with that. Well, we're dealing with that with the diet. So I was thinking last night, and I'm about to do this thing where we do carbs in the evening or no carbs in the evening, carbs in the evening, rice in the evening, no rice in the evening. And I've been trying to go back over the last sort of 3 months and realize that it was the moment that I really had carbohydrates or had processed foods that started creating this slippery slope. So it started with Diet Cokes. It started with having things to make my life easier. And funnily enough, it was my ex that got in my head about it, without even her being in it, that you just have to enjoy life and do it as easy as possible. And the amount of people that tell me, oh, you got to do life as easy as possible. You just got to, why make your life shitter if it doesn't have to be shitter? Why make your life shitter if it doesn't have to be shitter? And that's the same way that the grass got introduced as well. I was like, well, why not if it's fine? If I had hesitation around it already, that means I had hesitation around it. So therefore, don't be that. If I had hesitation around it, don't do it. So in this grass, this food thing, I was like, no. What has always worked for me? Including in all my businesses, including in everything that I've been doing. What actually works for me? And I keep coming back to low carbohydrate. We're not talking huge calorie deficit, we're talking low to minimal carbohydrates. Steaks, fishes, eggs, avocado, nuts. We're talking low carbohydrates. And I've been avoiding all information for a while now, right? For a while, just to keep independent thought, etc. But now I'm like, I need a bit more stimulus in my brain to sort of find my path. Anyway, so I get looking onto this ketosis to do with ADHD, to do with epilepsy and stuff, and I get reminded of the massive mental benefits of using ketones for fuel rather than glucose. Ketones are produced from fat. So fat gets converted into ketones get used. And this medic, what they were talking about was that they were talking about how ketones, because it's an energy cell, it literally energizes every single cell in the body in a completely different way. And it mimics fasting without being fasting. So a lot of cells get rejuvenated, a lot of cells get you get re-alivened, etc. Right? So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, so I want to do this rice thing because it makes it easier. But I did it for recently, I've done it for a total of 30 days-ish in the last 2 months, And each time it didn't make me feel mentally good. It didn't give me like this elated feeling mentally that I mentally just became this like really calm and really precise individual. So what I realized is I hate these yo-yos, these up and down yo-yos, these up and down carbohydrate yo-yos, and every time I'm on it, it's just ridiculous. Now, fruits maybe will be okay, maybe, I think. But grains, and this person also spoke about grains being like, grains were introduced much later into the human, society. It ain't it. I'm not somewhere feeling like, free and spiritual and that, and I'm just like, ooh, fantastic. There's some rice. I'm just not. Rice has got this like, I'm a beefcake kind of rice and just like, no. I don't want to be on this grind of, low energy, need to get more energy. Low energy, need to get more energy. Not enough carbohydrates, need more carbohydrates. Like this consistent food thing. I'd like to be in action. And a few times throughout the day, I'd like to feed myself more nutrition. And that's it. I want food to be fuel. Anyway, point is, I kind of got a bit of like, it is in ketosis. Like we do have to go ketosis. That's the reality of it. We have to go ketosis. Firstly, you're eliminating all glucose. So your body is only burning fat anyway. So it's either burning the fat that I've eaten or the fat on me. You cannot escape that. So for while the rig is getting done at the very least, that is the state that I should be in. I'm over it. We've done 3-4 months now, ups and downs. It's actually now, like, it hasn't worked, so I have to make the rules and be very exact. You just continue doing what you were doing exactly as it was and nothing else. So that's given me a bit of like peace. That's going to happen. Next thing gets worried, obviously you're like, but what about sleep? What about this? What about that? It's interesting. My sleep hasn't always been screwed up in this state. It's been more so that my caffeine intake has been sometimes a bit ups and downs, or my water intake maybe has been too high, which would cause me to wake up and pee a lot. Potentially. Right? So that's one other thing that could have been happening. Potentially, I was dealing with my father being close to dying, and then he actually died. And I think the ex-girlfriend was just causing me so much stress that I just kept waking up all the time. Like, she was on my mind. She's still on my fucking mind. Anyway, point is, okay. So that's there. So sleep, and we got to a place with magnesium and stuff where I could get the sleep. It was just the peeing. Okay, so if I could optimize and not maybe drink as much water in the night, if I could optimize a few things, a few little things here, a few little things there, probably going to get a better sleep anyway. And the higher sleep is actually also to do with a really high calorie deficit. High calorie deficit creates weird sleepiness, etc. Cool. So we operated on that. Then we go deadlines. Deadlines immediately, I was like, okay, well, do deadlines and things. Not for deadlines. So what I wanted to do was to create for myself was a bit different than deadlines. It's called, if you do this for 21 days, in 21 days, you're going to feel pretty good. Okay? So I've got one little thing in my diary every day. It's just like, today's day 1 out of 21. Cool. So in 21 days, I'm going to feel pretty good about how my body looks, feels, energetically wise in my body. Cool. Will I be done by then? Fuck, I'd love to. I don't know though. I don't know. And that's where the deadlines get weird. So what I've done is I've created another called really long one. So I've got day 1 out of 21 and I've got day 1 out of 60. Because in 60 days, just doing what I do every day, we'll be done. We will be done in 60 days. Whether I, that's all I know. That's all I know. It's all I know for the time being. They're not deadlines, they're like soft little markers called just continue. So I'm not operating them as deadlines. It's day 1 out of 21. Oh, my rig looks like shit. Has it been 21 days yet? No, shut up. Oh, when will we be done? Oh, has it been 60 days yet? Shut up. Like essentially, that's kind of the place that I need to be in. Like, that's it. Cool. Operated on that. Have to keep myself mentally just like, yep, we're in, cool. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I need to remember it does get better. So what that means is in the next couple of days, when we're switching over to this fat burning bullshit, there's gonna be a day that I'm gonna be really hungry and mentally I may start feeling worse and be depressed and stressed and or maybe all of that. But it hasn't been 21 days yet. And in 21 days, I'll feel pretty good. So just wait out the 21 days. It's like, it's that simple and it's not rocket science and it's that simple and that's all you need to do and that's it. And live and continue to live. So that is what I'm doing. And I'm kind of like racing to it, but also in the click over, I understand it might be harder, but doesn't matter. But like, just go. All I need to do is whenever I have room, I can just walk. I will just go for more walks. I will just do more steps. I will go do more walks, listen to more music, do more random shit, because this is the only thing that really is stopping me from the next cycle. We need to get rid of any excess fat. We need to feel great about ourselves. We need to feel relatively aligned. And we need to feel less self-conscious about like how I am being and my habits, etc. And we need to feel mentally more stable. Hence, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a space of mental stability. Fantastic. Cool. Can do that. And that's all I know. That's like all I know. I don't know anything else and I can't really give the space for anything else. That is all I kind of know. And if that's all I know, I really can't try and predict more of the future. I can be in the now. What can I do now? And we are earning self-love. We're earning self-respect. We're earning our stripes. We are doing whatever the fuck we want to do. And that's it. But I'm not bullish on carbohydrates as a thing in my life. As a thing in my life. Like, do you know when my physique has always been in best shape and I've never gained weight, etc., or anything like that? I've never really had to think about it and it's always been normalized. It's when I have been on no processed foods and minimal carbohydrates, if not zero carbohydrates. That's just how it's been. That's how it's been. Do you know that during those periods of times, I've had sometimes substance use during those times, and they have still been very productive times. And I've spoken about this before, that that yo-yo is actually, it's gone, because when you've got substance yo-yos in there, now I've got a substance yo-yo, which is an up and then a down, or like a groggy or a creative to a groggy, you know, depending on what substance it is, or like a love to depressed, if you're touching serotonin. You've now got this added thing, this called I'm running on petrol, which sometimes needs topping up. Now you've overfilled it a little bit too much. Now the spike is too high. Now it's processed and it's ups and downs. And no wonder I can't figure it out. And if my brain is a bit special, then I'm completely fucking it. Like, I'm literally completely screwing it. It was very interesting to hear this scientist person say that the mental state and how you experience the world is almost two completely different realities. And that landed with me. I've never heard anybody say that other than me myself. I have always said it's a completely two different ways of literally experiencing life. And do you know what the sad thing is? The sad thing is when me and my ex-partner would be both in a low carb state and both sort of adapted, everything was amazing. And the problem is you take a bit of carbohydrates while you're still low carbed, and because you've been low carb for a while, your body actually still produces ketones for a bit. So it keeps producing stuff which keeps burning fat, and you're still using that energy source. It only takes like 1 or 2 weeks until you really stop using any of that your body begins to stop producing ketones and you stop getting that energy in your brain. So it's like, wow, okay. So it's so hard to pinpoint because you eat the carbohydrates and immediately you feel happier, you feel more energetic. Not immediately energetic if you haven't been eating carbs, but within 3 or 4 days you feel like you've got more energy, more oomph to give. But you still feel good like you did sort of before, just with way more energy. So it makes ketosis now feel like this thing which you're like, oh, well, I don't need whatever. I feel even better on carbohydrates. I should have been doing this beforehand. But before you know it, especially if you overeat or if you do dumb shit, if you eat processed foods, before you know it, the insulin sensitivity goes to zero. And I'm just in putting on fat mode or maintaining and not really producing much ketones, and my mental state is like, it's not great. But I'd like to be off this food as a thing in life. Like, I have tried all the foods. I've been to all the places. My ex took me to Michelin star restaurants. Before then I've been to other restaurants. My family used to go to restaurants. Like, I've tried all the food it's all the same shit with just a different sauce, different spice, and your taste bud feels a little different, and it's like, okay, cool. Whatever, you know? Anyway, so we're back on the no processed. Yay. And we're on keto. We're in ketosis idea land. Okay, my muscles aren't going to look as full. They're not going to look as full. They're not going to look as vascular. Okay. What am I actually committed to? Like, I get that makes me feel a certain way. Like, okay, so now I'm jacked and now I get even more attention. Do I like the energy feeling of walking around like a beefcake? Not really. Not really at all. I like being lean machine that's also strong as fuck and flexible as fuck. Like, that's the reality of it. So it's like, what kind of energy do I want to feel throughout the day? And I still remember, great. I would wake up in the morning, I'd have a green tea, I would go out for breakfast, I would have eggs, I would have avocado, sometimes bacon. Bacon not really great for you and quite salty, but sometimes, right? I'd have that as breakfast meal. Fine, great. Then I'd have steak at night, like a fat half a kilo steak, like just great. And then a handful of nuts. Nuts did become a problem. Like, not a problem, but like I just started eating more and more. Like in a deficit, you're just like, oh, another handful, but that's another 300 calories. Point is, I'm feeling great. When has social media done well for me? When does social media do well for me? Like, genuinely, when does social media do well for me? Social media does well for me when I'm in a low carb state. Like when I'm in a deep low carb state. When does social media work for me? We also, a lot of the time, add yoga to that as well. Not always, but sometimes there's been yoga in there. But regardless, low carb state or feeling really good about the body, the social media does better. So as an overall, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to do that and continue doing that. And I had to work through all this self-loathing of like, oh, you had to like, but you were there 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, and now have a look, you're so much larger and like it's fucked and like, there's just so much negative self-talk. Look, you went backwards again, blah, 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 blah. It took a lot of, it takes a lot of negative self-talk for me to get over the fact to then begin again. To then like almost lick my wounds and begin again. It would be nice to not do that and be like, okay, there was a day, it's fine, back on the train. You know, but at the moment, I'm not built that way. You know, at the moment, I'm not built that way. So we go to moving on to looking after ourselves, loving ourselves. We're going to get into ketosis. We're going to burn the fat of whatever's left. Progressively, calmly, in good spirit. And we're staying sober until the rig is done. There is zero movement on that. Hello? I think the mic just dropped. There is zero movement for not loving self fully. There's zero movement for it fully. Yeah, we're going to stay sober until the rig gets done. Is that full sober? Socially might be okay. Because what happens if I'm like feeling not bad, feeling better, and in general, and I begin to be social with somebody, either a female or a male, etc., and I wouldn't be drinking, but if it's social, I think it might be okay, but I'm not gunning for that. I'm just creating certain set of rules. That's it. That's where I'm at. That is where I'm at. I'm glad we're out of the other side of this, and I'm glad that it didn't take over my entire life. And fingers crossed the damage hasn't been that bad, because it's only been a week here. Before then, I was kind of already liking a bit better how I look. So, like, fingers crossed, the damage is actually just, you know what, it's going to be okay. Fingers crossed that's the case. And that would mean that we've learned how to do one benefit, which is just stop and put the, stop the self-sabotage. But I'm getting over it, to be honest. Like, I'm over being my worst enemy. I am my worst enemy, which is just wild that I am my worst enemy. I am my worst enemy. Other people are not my worst enemy. I am my worst enemy. So it's time to squish that for good. Thank you. That would be very nice to just stop that. And in turn, I do think that the right thing with carbohydrates ends up being fruit here and there, but that's about it. Fruit here and there, but that's about it in terms of carbohydrates. Not sure if we were meant to eat potatoes from the ground and stuff that are like, I'm just not sure. It doesn't really look like it was meant to be appetizing. Just because we found a way to make it appetizing, it doesn't look like it was meant to be appetizing. Regardless, this is not the time to figure any of this out. We've just simplified the whole thing. I just get over to this click over where we start burning ketones for fuel. When we start burning ketones for fuel, the hunger goes way down anyway. So that's another win. And we just keep moving. We keep moving and get all of this excess stuff off. It's really that simple. We just get rid of the excess and we feel great again. We've got an album release coming soon. Fantastic. I'm going to release my Coming for Kanye song. Probably within this week, we're going to begin to actually get it released. Lots of things are happening. I am not positive about the future. I don't know what the future holds, actually. I don't even know what the future holds. You know, that is where I'm at. I do not know what the future holds. But what I do know is that I need to get one thing done at a time. So I'm going to get this fucking rig done. I'm fucking over it. I am so over it. We're going to just become a sexy cunt. Like, let's bring Sex Icon back. What is that going to do? I don't know, but I'm not going to worry about not being a sex icon. That would be nice, okay? Because I'm over not being that. If I know I can be that, why am I not that? It's disappointing for me. So, step one, do that. It might be hard, it might not be, but really the first 4 days is going to be hard. After then, it's not really hard. You just got to continue doing the thing. Once I'm locked into a pattern, just continue doing the pattern. Don't change, Andrew. That's where I usually get bored and I'm like, I'm a bit bored. Do something else. Don't change the pattern with the food, bro, or the exercise. That's it. Like, don't fuck with what's working. Because it was working well, it was getting us cut, it got us in extremely great shape. We had an 8-pack. Probably, which is this, it's a good and bad thing. It's a good and bad thing. We're probably 3 kilos away. 3 kilos away from single-digit body fat-ish, which would have been complete. So it's 3 kilos off. That is upsetting. But it also means that most likely, in 21 days-ish, we will again be, probably, 3 to 5 kilos off the finish line. Okay. Happy days. So, that is what we're doing. And we don't do anything else. It's quite easy. It's quite easy as long as I fucking don't put new things in there. New things right now. My life is sufficiently boring enough right now. And what I do is I start putting new shit in it. When I start putting new shit in it, that's where it gets a bit not great. So we're not going to put new shit in it. We're just going to do the same shit, more of it. Oh, I got time? Cool, you got time? Walk. Oh, but like, what if, just walk. Everybody can keep walking, just walk. Just walk more. That's it. So, that's where we're at. Excuse me, day one. Not bad. Not bad. I'm feeling not elated about it. I'm not excited about it. I'm not mad about it. I'm not delusional about it. I am just here, and I know what there is to do today, and then I will do that today. And then I know what there is to do tomorrow, and then I will do that tomorrow. And then every day we will do what needs to be done. And that is it. So I can't really do anything else. Like, I observe the whole world treat me completely different 6-7 weeks ago. I saw that. Okay. So weird. Not weird, but like, okay. So it means my whole reality on the outside changed because of I changed how I looked. Cool. So at the very least, to not be bored, it would be interesting if the whole world was a bit different. Okay, cool. So let's just do that. The whole world will be a bit different looking. That will make it a little bit more exciting, or something will be different. Whatever. Anyway. My fingers crossed is that I just haven't done too much damage. That's all. That's all I'm really hoping for. I am hoping for not too much damage. And that's it. I'm hoping for not too much damage. I'm hoping for my ex and myself to live happily ever after once we're both in a good position. I'm here to show her that it's possible to transform your life, to face courage. I'm here to work on my passions. I'm here for the road to stadium. But as I feel shit about myself, when I say that, I'm like, oh, I'm not worth it. I'm not enough to go to a stadium because I can't stop eating the carbohydrates, you know. Whoa. So that's where we're at. That is where we're at. That is where we're at. That is the truth of the matter. And I will do that. So in essence, ketosis will be relatively easy. It'll be the same thing, doing it every day, and that's it. There's not much more else to do. When I can add yoga to it, I will, which will probably be later on in this week, probably by Sunday. Today's what? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday would be day 5. Yeah, it would be perfect time to reintroduce yoga again. And to get some breathing in there and to disconnect from my thoughts as being real. And then we just continue on the journey. Continue on the journey. And do you know what the weird thing is? I'm going to give you another weird thing. Me and the ex, we actually combined together first while I was on low carbohydrate for a while at that point. In fact, our whole beginning of our relationship really stemmed from that start. I was completely sober and I was low carbohydrate. It was just like, yeah, eggs and steak and movement and yoga. And in that state, mentally, everything is easy for me. So it might have to be a complete life choice. My skin's better, my everything's better, just everything functions better. The only thing that I don't have is like, I don't have the ice creams or the shit, but that all goes away within a few weeks anyway. Like the palate almost changes. Like that does happen. I wasn't thinking of that beforehand. Like, yeah, the palate changes. I remember having the first protein bar after like 2.5 weeks of nothing processed, and it was like, what is this? Like all things that aren't good for you, you need to dose it a few times, and then you become addicted to it, just like cigarettes. So your first cigarette, it's never bad. So you're like, oh, well, that wasn't good. I won't get addicted to it. But that's how it starts. That is how literal addiction starts. So addiction starts by being like, that wasn't that good. So therefore, it's fine to have another. And another because it's not that good. And before you know it, when you're like, okay, now I don't want to do them, and then you're like, I need them. You got to remember it wasn't that good in the first place. So I got to remember it's not that good in the first place. It's just my stupid palate now being a stupid little palate by absorbing what companies have spent millions and billions of dollars of market research to make it the most highly palatable, addictive food possible for you to have. They've got me. They've got me. They've got me in that fucking trap. Okay, leave me alone, please. I would like to now ascend. Thank you, because this whole process, this whole section has not been positive. You know, do you know what would have been better positive? Ex threatened me, found a new man, and Dad died, and I actually kept all my routine and everything perfect. Well, at least I wouldn't be feeling shit about myself. But now we've still got all of that still in the space, and I now feel shit about myself. And comparison, I'm like, yeah, see, I can't hold my diet down. My ex-girlfriend should have left me. Amazing. I love that. I love that for me. I actually love that. Like, I love feeling that. I love feeling bad. But in essence, it's also not true. Maybe not for her, but as a male, I need to be able to say I'm going to do one thing and then complete it and finish it. And then I say the next thing and I'll do that and I'll complete it and finish it. Like, the truth may hurt, but I need to have that as a part of my being. And that will definitely change how I show up. That will change what standards that I keep for myself. That changes everything. Anyway, I apologize in advance. Emotionally, over the next couple of days, I may be a little up and down. I'm kind of firstly regaining energy from the grass leaving my system, then becoming more frustrated because the glucose is leaving, then being energized. I'll be something. Whatever I'll be, I will be. And I will thank you again for being here through yet another mental shift. But it feels like this is a good shift. I feel like this shift right here, I don't know what I feel. I definitely feel that it's irrelevant what I feel, and this is necessary. It's quite simply necessary. We have to peel the fat off, so we're going to peel the fat off. It's quite necessary to do this, and it's quite necessary to keep a stable, level, mental headspace the entire time. What can I do? I've either already eaten what I've eaten for today, or I can do more movement. That's it. Or I can work. Nothing else. So we're in. We're in, and in 21 days, we'll be able to be like, hey, look, 21 days is done. Oh, look, I'm pretty happy with my rig. That is how it will be. Are you allowed to be like, but it's not done yet? No, because it hasn't been 60 days yet. That's it. There's nothing more for me to get. There's nothing more for me to advance in. That is all that needs to be done. So that is all I will do. Amen. Thanks for being here. That's the update. I'm sorry that I've been off. I'm back. But I think it's important for you to see the real life of seeing what a substance can do to you, the real life of seeing what a diet change can do to you, the real life of what habits change you and how the other person begins to appear. I think that's invaluable as education, as something that a human being experiences for themselves and like looks from the sidelines and being like, yep, I get that. You definitely, as a human being, learn off that experience. You're like, I saw that human being do that, and then that happened to them, right? So that'll happen to me probably in some sort of capacity. Let's not do that. You know? Anyway, I love you. Have the best day ever. Thank you for being here. Till tomorrow. Peace.